Good morning and welcome back everybody, and a nice cup of green tea. You can't beat it, or English tea. So yeah, what it is, this video is, I've a few friends of mine that have come into 3D printing world, and they said, what do you personally, to actually put the threaded brass inserts into your actual plastics, your designs that you do? I said, well, there's no real way other than you have to put them in by heat, which I said you have to have some form of soldering iron, and you have to press them in. Now, we all know that's done it in the past. You can get the soldering iron, you can get the fittings that hold. You don't necessarily need the fittings that hold the actual, which I'll show you in a moment, that actually hold the brass inserts that you put in end of your soldering iron. But you can just simply put them in, put the hot end of it and press it, and it'll go in. However, I used to do that, and I did find out sometimes, and the smaller you go, the more it makes a difference, is you can push them in not square, not vertical, and you can push them to one side at an angle, and it does make a difference, because if you're working with 3mm threads, when you push that in, you only have to be a fraction out pushing it over to one side or out of line. It will not go in. It'll go in tight, or it'll miss it completely. So there are various things, devices that you can get off the internet, and you can actually print them out and you know, put wheels on, or put a slide on, whatever you want to do. You know, linear rails, you can do what you want to put them on and make it so that you can actually press them in. Well, what I'm going to show you today is what I use. Okay, it works every time, and believe me, it's cheap. I'll show you in a moment. And the soldering iron I use is cheap, and I'm a great believer, being a Yorkshireman, that you can get things at a bargain price. And yeah, the only things that you will require, and I always say get a decent set, are the brass insert adapters for your soldering iron. So yeah, what I'm going to show you today is how I've got some things that I need to do. What I'm going to show you is the brass inserts that I have to put in these here. I'll show you them close up. These are actually end stops for my router track that I did. They take a 4mm threaded insert, and then I just lock them off at either end of the track, and I can do a stopped trench or a groove, whatever I want to do. So yeah, I've got those to do, and I've this to do. A friend of mine, I've just printed him off the actual, if you've seen my video, look for it, it's the Sunlu filament joiner, and I did a station that takes two reels, and it's nice and neat, it's easy to work with, and that's one of the brackets out of it, and that takes 4mm insert. So I'll show you how to do that now. The problem with that is you've got to look, and you can do it, you'd have to do that manually, because you're very difficult, you wouldn't know unless this is a curved surface, so you'd have to hold it and do it. But I do it a different way, especially on curved surfaces. So what I'll go through is I'll go through what I use, and it's up to everybody what soldering iron they want to use or how they want to put it in. But trust me on this one, this works, and it does it absolutely spot on. I'll just point out some of the downfalls that you can have with it as well. Not this, but putting them in manually. Okay, because at one stage I used to manually put them in, and then when I pressed them in where I thought it was far enough, I'd put them on a flat surface and hold them there, and that'll make it completely flush. We don't have to bother with this. what I use, because you can set it for the depth of the plastic, and it'll put them in. If you've so many to put in, it'll put them in at the same depth every time. Okay, right, what I'll do is I'll change camera angle so you can see exactly what I'm using, and I'll go through it with you. Right, I hope you can all see that. Right, first thing is, this is what I use for the press. Okay, now you might think that's a drill press. You are bang on right, it is a drill press, and believe it or not, this thing is extremely good. Don't get me wrong, I would consider poorly made for a drill press. However, this is purchased from Amazon. I will put the link in, but you can get this ranging between the same one between £19, well, just over £20 thereabouts, down to as little as £11 something, and some of them for that even come with, not this one, this is mine, I didn't get it with this one, comes with a clamp now, which I use it. So if you get one with it, that's all good and well. It comes with different inserts, okay, for different items. Now this insert that's in here fits, believe it or not, the Parkside soldering iron. You'll have seen these are about, I think I paid somewhere in the region about £20. Good unit, digital display on it, you can set the temperatures so you're not overheating everything. I normally put the inserts in between 300 and 350, something like that, on the dial, on and off switch, and it's quite a long lead, and it clamps in absolutely perfect. Okay, now the beauty about this is, as I was telling you earlier, if you are putting that in, and you put in a, as you can see there, a 4mm insert in there, yes, you can get a flat surface there. Okay, that isn't a problem. But if you've got to be gentle with it. Once it hasn't got the brass insert in, which I'll show you in a minute, then you can push it over. And if you've not much of an edge, flat edge, you could do it with this, but I normally like to fit them in. Okay, so that's it. Now you've seen it on a lot of the free STL websites, you know, Maker World and Thingiverse, people designing units with linear rails, pulleys, wheels, you name it. Well, the time consumed in printing it, I know it's nice to print something and use what you've printed, making it work, using a design. This here, this setup here, has cost me less than £40. Less than £40, which is, that cost me, I think it within a region of about £18. Okay, and it's aluminium, cast aluminium, so mostly steel. There are some plastic in it, and what's more, you can set it to the depth you want. And whoops, it's Allen key. I always keep an Allen key with me. There you can see it. It's spring loaded. Okay, simple to use, and it works. I'm going to go through it with you. As I said, this is what I use. Where everybody wants to choose to use something else, that's entirely up to yourselves. I don't recommend anything on my channel. I've come unstuck with that. People, you get something yourself that's been faultless, somebody buys it on my recommendations, and next thing, bang, they're having problems with it because it just happens to be a faulty one, and then you get repercussions. It's one of them things. Anyway, I'm just showing you what I use. Now I went on to tell you about the inserts. I'll just put that over there for the time being. As I said, those are different ones to take different units, but if you've got a 3D print, you can print a spacer boss in there, but this just happens to fit, and it fits perfect. Right, these are the selection of brass inserts. I have another pack upstairs of these because I got a box twice, two of them with about 50% off the second box, and they weren't expensive at all, but they're invaluable. Well, I'll just show you that one is a, that there is an M2. You see how delicate that is? Okay, now if you were to push that in just slightly off to one side or at an angle, you wouldn't get that bolt. That it wouldn't go in. It's pointless trying to force it. It needs to be put in accurately. Okay, so that's one of them. Oh, sorry, wrong one, because there's long and the short. There's, I'll just show you the difference really. If you see that one there, you see that, and then that one there, you can see the difference in length. They're both 4mm, but one is shorter, and it comes in handy sometimes. You might want a longer thread, or it might need to be a shorter thread depending on the thickness of the plastic you're putting it into. So there you go. And there's a part of the end part there, you can see that is actually smaller than the rib part that grips. Okay, and I put that into the hole first. Whether it's right or whether it's wrong, I put it in. I get better results by pressing that in first, and then that sort of clears the plastic away for it to grip down. Okay, so that's the two, just showing you the different size, and in there you get a different selection, different sizes, so M6 down to M2. Okay, now in order to put these in, you need to get a set of these, and these are, whoops, I'm dropping them all, sack the juggler. These are the inserts that go into your soldering iron, and these hold through the center of the adapters, the brass inserts that you're putting in. They hold into the thread, or they're smooth, they're not screwed in. They screw into my soldering iron, and they fit most. You just have to check before you purchase them, and then that you will, in fact I'll show you, I'll get one out and show you. I'll get one out for a 4mm, of which I'm going to use. This is the 4mm one. Right. That is a 4mm insert, okay? That goes into your soldering iron. Then that fits on it, okay? It's just a guide bush really for when you're inserting them. Hope you can see that. It's just, that's all it is, it just guides it in. So, but I'm going to show you putting them in anyway, because I'm putting 4mm in. But you need a set of these. They're not expensive whatsoever. So if you get a set of these and a set of them, now I will, if I can find the link, I will put a link to these. Got them off Amazon, because they are, I can recommend them because they're all, you know, if they don't work, it's because you don't put them in right. So okay, but I'll show you, and I'll show you now working and what I do. Now remember, when you're putting these inserts in, I've picked the selected one for the 4mm. Please, I know it sounds silly what I'm going to tell you, but please screw these in before the soldering iron's hot, and don't take it out till it's cooled down. Okay, you can take it out with a pair of pliers, but not with your fingers. All right, please. Right, so that's in now. Okay, so I'll switch the soldering iron on, and I can set it to what temperature I want. I'm going to run this at about, depending on the size of bushes and what, because if you're talking, there's a big difference between bushes. So obviously the more bigger the bush, the more heat you require. It's going up now. I'm going to set it to about 350. Okay. Now what I'll do now is I'll show you putting, I'm not going to do them all, I'm just going to show you this one and this one, and then you'll get the gist of it there. But as you can see, the problem with this is it's not. Okay, so this is what I do. I always, and believe it or not, I find it quite useful, an old spirit level bubble. Okay, now what I do is I sit that on top and then just flatten it off and then move that until it's bang on vertical. Just gently nip it, doesn't have to be hard. Okay, that I know that now is exactly perpendicular to that. Alright, for when I press them in, they are gonna go in straight. Okay, right, next thing I'll do is, that's warming up now, is you need to adjust this to the height. Okay, so just put that on, you know roughly it needs to go up. Okay, let's move that from there. About there will do it. Lock that off. Okay, that locks the whole unit off. There. Put that underneath. Now you know that this unit, that soldering iron, needs to come down. Okay, so set the depth of what you're gonna press the inserts into. Okay, well there's another adjustment screw at the side there. And if you undo that, that will allow you to press that down and you can roughly get to within what you want to do. Okay? Lock that off, like so. Every time you press that in, that's going to press that into that. Okay? So that's how you'll adjust it down. Okay, right, we're up to temperature now, it's level and we're going to put one in. Okay, so first thing I do is place that over where it's going to go. Okay, move that down, push it into the hole. Wait till it gets hot, you'll see it going in. Can you see it? Take that out. There, pressed in. And if you look at that now, let's see if I can get it in shot. It is pressed in exactly square and exactly at the depth just below the surface that I require. Alright, and it'll do that every time I put one in. Okay, so that's that one. Same again. You want to press one in here. What I normally do is put that in. Doesn't have to be. I'll get another brass insert, another 4mm. I use bigger ones for this because it's it might cockle over when you get it to, but as soon as you put that in, it'll level it up. Okay, right, you've got to set the depth again. So same thing. What we'll do now, adjust this down. Taking the temperature down to about 320. Okay, right, here we are again, and you want to set your depth again. Okay, release the side thing. It's push that there, about there. I know where it's going because it's the collar of the brass insert. Okay, then put that in there. Line it up. Press it in. And you always get a little bit of residue of coming from the end when you put it in. And I always just, it's not hot, you don't burn your finger. I just quickly run my finger across and you can see that. Popped it in, perfect. Every time. Yeah, it is quicker when you do it manually, hold the soldering iron, push them in. But I get them exactly to the right depth and also get them perfectly lined up. Okay, I'm going to do the other one. Put another one of these in because I need these. And there we go. Perfect. Every time. It never fails. Now, you could go along and spend X amount of pounds printing all your time, finding out it goes wrong through the print and what have you. It's good to sometimes, as I said earlier, print something or design something and see it working what you've done. But it is only putting brass inserts in. But these, believe me, need to be put in properly. They need to be put in accurately, and you will find out if you try and put the smaller ones in, as I discovered, you only have to be fractionally out, the thread will not pick up, or you'll force it out. Okay, so I know they are flush and imperfect every time. If I have 50 of these to do, they'll be put in exactly the same every time. So that's it for this video really. It's only a quick video because somebody had asked me what I can do, and sometimes you're dealing with curved surfaces like this, you know, you can put the flat surface on if you put them in here and do the same. You don't need that, but you can understand trying to put one in. I'll switch this off. Trying to put one in there is an absolute, you might get it in right, you might not, or manually, you know, you can be, it's like drilling a hole in a wall. You've got to make sure it's that way right and it's that way right. So, but this does the job for you for what it cost me, and it's pretty stable. There's a little bit of play, but that don't matter. It probably would do if you were drilling something accurately, but not for putting these in. It puts them in exactly straight every time in exactly the same place. Right, that's conclusion to this video. As I say, we're only a short video, and when people ask me something, if I can show them, I will do. It's what I use, it's how I do it. It works perfect every time for a very little cost. I mean, I wish I'd have seen the prices when I purchased this. I think it was about, as I said, about under 20 quid. But when I come to look for something else, these cropped up, and I saw them at £11 something, £15, and you got a base clamp. So for that sort of money, why would you go out and buy a linear rail that will cost you 15 to 20 quid? All the plastic you've got to do to print it, and it might fail, so you might have to do it again. Your time, your electricity for the printer running, this does the job just as well for the money. But as I say, I'm not that. I'm not knocking anybody that wants to design their own. I'm saying somebody's asked me what I use, and this is what I'm explaining. I like to get a bargain. I think I have done. So it works a treat. It's well made. You could drop it on the floor. You won't break anything. It's all metal, virtually all metal, and it fits my soldering iron. And you can leave. I leave it sat in there, the soldering iron. It doesn't. I never remove it. And the beauty about this as well is you can swing it round. If you can't get anything under here, if you had a big box to do and it didn't fit under here, swing it round. Just swing this round and do it off the top, you know, all off a support. swing it over the edge of something and support it up. So it's quite versatile. Right, don't forget, like and subscribe. They are going up, my subscribers, but very slowly. Give me a thumbs up. Any comments you've got, please, I'll answer them if I can help you. I've had some good comments, constructive comments as well, where I've actually altered things because of something that I printed out, and it was the Sunlow filament unit for the splicing unit with the coils on, and I uploaded it, and a gentleman got back to me and said your tolerance is a little bit tight. Now on my Bambu Labs, they're all printed on the A1 upstairs, and some parts on the X1C, they all fit together absolutely perfect, but not everybody's printer's the same for the tolerances. So I did adjust them slightly. So good constructive criticism, and he responded in the politest way possible. He didn't want to offend me, and I said, no, hey, we're all here to learn. And the day you're not able to take criticism or look at another way that somebody showed you, then you're not going to learn, are you? I love comments where people tell me how they do things. It's really constructive, and there's a lot of quite technical and knowledgeable people out there, so far superior to me, but I do my best. And I just hope you like the video. So until next time, you be safe, you be careful, and bye for now. Bye.